Oiwa is one of the most famous Japanese ghost stories ever written in Japan. It is also known as Yatsuya Kaiden, and it tells the story of a woman who was poisoned by her unfaithful husband. Her disfigured ghost returns from the dead to exact revenge. Oiwa was a young, beautiful woman who lived in a small town in Japan. Her boyfriend's name was Iemon. And although he didn't have much money, Oiwa loved him very much. She was overjoyed when her childhood sweetheart asked her to marry him. After the wedding day, they moved in together, and the happy couple would soon be expecting a baby. Oiwa didn't care that Amon was poor, but as time went on, he became angry and depressed about his lack of prospects. Aemon soon grew to hate his happy young wife and started an affair with a rich young woman named Ome. He romanced her for a few months, and eventually she fell in love with him, despite his poverty and the fact he was already married. One day, Ome's father came to see Aemon and told him what a shame it was that he was already married, because his daughter loved him very much. The father went on to tell him all the ways he could ensure his future son-in-law's wealth and success. Iemon listened intently. Iemon spent a great deal of time thinking about what Ome's father said. An evil plot began to form in his mind. He decided the only way he could marry Ome was to somehow get rid of Oiwa and her unborn child. He thought that the easiest way was to secretly poison Oiwa and make it look like she died of natural causes. Poor Oiwa was totally ignorant of her husband's murderous plans, blissfully unaware of the fate that was about to befall her. She continued to happily prepare for the birth of her baby. One evening, when Oiwa and Iemon were sitting down to eat dinner, she noticed her husband was strangely quiet and nervous. He encouraged him to eat his dinner, but he would not touch his food. He yelled at Oiwa and told her to stop fretting and eat her own meal. She needed to be strong for the baby, he said. Oiwa finally gave up trying to tempt Iemon's appetite and started to eat her dinner. It wasn't long before she felt very sick. Iemon watched her coldly as the poison did its work, not offering her any help or comfort. But Oiwa did not die right away. Her beautiful face became disfigured from the poison first, then she slipped into unconsciousness. Iemon was too much of a coward to finish the job he started, so he put Oiwa's lifeless body in bed. Eventually Oiwa woke from her coma, remembering nothing of the poisoning. She had lost her baby, and her face was ugly and terrible, but Oiwa lived. Iemon was desperate. He played the part of a concerned husband, but he was looking for any way possible to rid himself of his wife. One evening, he took Oiwa for a long walk. They made their way to the cliff, and Iemon looked around to see if anyone was nearby. No one was in sight. Iemon pushed Oiwa off the ledge. Her body was recovered, and Iemon gave her the best funeral he could afford, spending all of his money in a great show of marital devotion. Of course, Iemon knew his money troubles were only temporary now that Oiwa was gone. Thinking his worries were over, Iemon planned his wedding to Ome. The night before the marriage was to take place, Iemon noticed his bedside lamp was dimming. He looked at it curiously, as it seemed to be changing. The disfigured face of Oiwa suddenly replaced the lamp, growing larger and larger in the room. "Betrayal!" she hissed. Yaemon grabbed a stick and swung at the face, but Oiwa disappeared, and the lamp smashed and fell to the ground. Yaemon thought he had heard the faint laughter of a woman from outside. Shaken, he convinced himself that the vision was simply a result of drinking too much alcohol earlier in the evening and went to bed. The next day, Yaemon had forgotten all about the spectre from the night before. He and Ome were wed. When he lifted the veil, however, her beautiful young face was replaced with Oiwa's horrible visage. "Betrayal!" she hissed. The horrified Iemon drew his sword and swung it at the ghostly apparition, cutting off Oiwa's head. The severed head rolled down the aisle of the church, but when it came to stop, it had Ome's face, not Oiwa's. He heard a faint sound of laughter again. Iemon ran to his tiny house, looking for a place to hide. There was a pounding at the door, and Ume's grandfather demanded that he opened it. When Ume did, when Iemon did so, Oiwa was standing there. "Betrayal!" she hissed. Once again, Eamon tried to decapitate her, but when his sword finished its work, it was Ome's grandfather lay dead. Iemon ran for the cliffs, Oiwa's laughter following him. He stopped at the edge and looked down, perhaps changing his mind. "It doesn't matter," a passerby reported, seeing a woman push Iemon off the cliff before she jumped after him, laughing all the way down.